welcome back to Black Swan Outdoors. In the previous video in this series here, I went through unpacking my canoe pack, and in the video we talked that I have some specific kits that I've broken down some of my gear into. So we're going to go and break down some of the kits in this series. So we'll start with the kitchen and some of the kits in and revolving the kitchen. So the stove kit that I have is pretty simple. I like to have some kind of windscreen along with the stove, and then the pump. And then with that, I like to have some kind of stable base. And this is designed for snow camping, but I find it to be really helpful if you're canoeing in a sandy environment and you want to have your stove down on the sand. So that helps. Everything that they make for snow can be used also for sand. So for example, in my tent setup, I always keep snow stakes for that reason, so I can use that to anchor my tent in the sand. Along with the kit here is I have the stove, the tool, and the reason why I use these MSR stoves is that it's adjustable enough to do most cooking, and then I can get it hot enough to burn very quickly boil water, but it's also field strippable. So when I look at my pump and my stove, personally, my opinion is I like to be able to fix these things in the field. So I want to purchase a stove that's going to be field repairable. So with my repair kit specifically, I want to be able to do that. And so one of the things that is helpful are these little tools, the stove tools that go along with it. Then I always have oil for the leather priming cup, and then a lighter, of course, to light the stove. And then I have a small vial of alcohol that I use as a priming fuel before I prime with the white gas. And if you do that, then it cuts down on the excess soot on the camping gear. So most of your camping gear or your cooking gear should have some level of soot on it, and that's fine. But I find it it's one more thing kind of to clean, and if you can kind of cut down on excess soot, that's always nice. And then of course, saving your fuel on a longer trip is nice to be able to do. Even though it's just a small amount of fuel, it does save quite a bit of fuel if you're not priming with your cooking fuel. So you have priming fuel and cooking fuel. That might be a little neurotic for most people, but again, we're luxury camping, so we have some little additional benefits. And then as far as my pot set goes, what I really like is this heat exchanger. It helps push hot air, or the heat, in and around the outside of the pot. So if you're cooking like a large meal on here, it really kind of captures a lot of the heat. And so what I can do is I can push this down a little bit and really capture in a lot of heat, and it really moves that heat in and around stainless steel. Well, I like stainless steel cook sets for camping because they're easy to clean. They also distribute the heat fairly well, easily. Titanium is nice. I only use titanium for a titanium pot that I'm just going to be boiling water in, not for cooking, because I find it easier to cook a better meal in stainless than it is in titanium. I also prefer not to use Teflon. I do have a Teflon pan here that I have used, and you can see that all this Teflon is starting to mark off, especially if you're cleaning it with something very abrasive. So often, you know, you can use the lid of your cook set. Alternatively, sometimes it's nice just to have that separate fry pan. But if you've had any suggestions for a fry pan that's not Teflon, I would love to hear it.